Welcome to another edition of Fresh Fire Friday with TY and Reggie. Today is a special day. We got a group of talented young drill sergeants in the United States Army. And, I'm going to turn it over to my brother TY. Go ahead and do your thing, bro.
All right. So the topic on this Fresh Fire Friday is going to be 5 people you want to either break bread or have a conversation with, dead or alive. So now we're going to turn it over to my man Gene, and we're going to get started.
Appreciate you, TY. Thank you. Thank you and Reggie, first and foremost, for allowing me to attend this amazing forum. And I just really appreciate the love that you guys have shown. When I was asked by Reggie to join the cast, I was just honored. You know what I'm saying? But when I think about 5 individuals, dead or alive, that I would have loved or would love to be in a room with or sit with, I'm gonna start first with Martin Luther King Jr. I think the strength that the King displayed back in those times is insurmountable. I mean, think about the images that we used to see when we were in school of what took place back in those times. The white police officers beating on our kings and queens, and I just really would have loved to know what was going through his mind when he sat in that jail cell in Birmingham. And I just feel like you got to have a different type of strength. You talk about strength in general. When you're in combat, there's a different strength. When you're in the military, there's a different strength. And you don't even have to be military, just going through life itself, you have to find some type of inner strength to continue pushing forward when things just seem like they're just not going to work. You know what I'm saying? And I would have loved to just sit there in that cell with him and just kind of wonder what is going through his mind and how he felt or how he thought he was going to get through and still become the icon that he is today, not knowing, I'm sure, or not wanting any credit for being the icon that he is today. And that would be my first person that I would have loved to sit with when it comes to sitting with an individual, dead or alive. The next individual for me would be Jay-Z. I can't remember exactly what took place, but there was a meme, and I think it was real, I'm not sure, but there was a meme that stated, would you rather have several $1 million or something like that, or would you rather have a seat at the table with Jay-Z? And, Reggie knows me very well. Will, they know me very well. It's never going to be about the money for me, because sitting with Mr. Carter would probably, it's just priceless. So it would be priceless for me. It wouldn't be about the money for me. It really wouldn't, because you got to think about the mindset of someone like Jay-Z, right? He started off, and I really actually hate when they address him this way. Oh, former drug dealer, now he's a billionaire. I never did like the way they started off like that, right? And that always bothered me when they call him a former drug dealer. Okay, we know he's from the Marcy Projects. We know he's from the hood. We know he did what he had to do to get to where he is, right? But I just feel like your struggles will end up defining you at some point, right? They do. Your struggles define who you are when you come out of them, right? Even if you don't come out of them, they still define who you are. But I think Jay-Z is one of those exceptional human beings that we have in this world that he does a lot of things behind the scenes that a lot of people will never know. Like Jay-Z at one point was literally spending his own money and created his own legal team for African Americans that were wrongly accused. A lot of people don't know that, but they don't care about that. You know, the media don't want to hear the good side, right? They want to find that negativity, that, oh, he was a drug dealer, oh, his music, he only talks about this and that. So they always want to find that negative aspect of that individual. In turn, he's good. He's good for our people, even though some may say he sold out when it comes to the NFL and so on and so forth. I look past that for a lot of reasons because I feel like he's done more good than evil, right? Or what others would consider evil. But I would love to take a seat at a table with Jay-Z and just pick his business mindset. Because let's make no mistake about it. What did he say? I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman, right? So it's impeccable, man. Just his whole aura, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I think I just appreciate the person he is for us, right? For us as a people. Moving right along, my third person will not surprise anyone. Muhammad Ali would be my third person that I would have loved to have a seat at the table with. When I think of Muhammad Ali, and this might surprise some of you on the forum, when I think of Muhammad Ali, I actually think about Reggie, right? I met Reggie back in 2008, and a little, let me see, I went to drill sergeant school in 2009. So yeah, 2007. 2007. I met Reggie at drill sergeant school. Now, mind you, I didn't know him yet. I didn't know him, prior to that. All I know that he was a drill sergeant in the upper class. He wasn't a drill sergeant yet. We were both at drill sergeant school. They were the upperclassmen, and we were the rookies that just came in, and they were getting ready to graduate. And we haven't graduated yet. So, I made a big mistake in front of the upperclassmen, and the upperclassmen, they just let me have it. Like I'll never forget it. All I remember is Reggie and another guy that we're really cool with, just laughing, right? And I just remember, going back, and I'm like, man, how could I make that mistake, right? Like I took pride in calling out the commands the correct way and so on and so forth. And I just remember Reggie and another one of the guys just laughing. And, we had a good laugh about it. And then I come to California where we were stationed as combat instructors. And I meet Reggie for the first time. And I'm not making this up. When I first met Reggie, all I remember saying to myself was, dang, he reminds me of Muhammad Ali. And the reason I said that about Reggie is because of his position when it came to his own people. He was Black through and through, and he cared about his Black people, his kings and queens. I can remember one of the instructors made a comment about an African-American female, and Reggie checked him immediately. Nah, you don't talk about her like that, and you don't talk to her like that. You know what I'm saying? And I just that just meant so much to me, because I'm like, wow. I mean, it was because of Reggie that I stopped eating pork. You know what I'm saying? I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. It was because of him. And he'll never let me forget it because of the way I felt after I ordered my burrito with pork in it.
He speak like 4 languages. He ended up speaking Spanish fluently. And so I said, what did you say? I said, what did you order? He talking about pork. I'm like,
He knew it was a
And-
bad situation
And
then.
you know what? It's just the way that he carried himself, the way Reggie carried himself. I just felt like I have to follow suit. Not as a follower per se, not in that way. You see, most people get that confused because you respect someone so much and you idolize the way they carry themselves. Most people see it as, oh, you following. No, that's not how it goes. You're respecting the fact that this individual has that aura about them. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? So when I ordered my pork burrito, right? And Sam asked me what I ordered, I told him, pork. And then he explained to me why he doesn't eat pork. And after his explanation, this is a true story, by the way. After his explanation of why he doesn't eat pork, I went back and I did my own research. And he'll tell you, and I'm not making this up, I want to say the very next day or within that week, I stopped eating pork. And that was in 2008. And we're in 2022 and I haven't eaten pork since.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And let me tie that back to why he reminded me so much of Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was his own man. Muhammad Ali was never part of a group. If he said what he said and he meant what he said, which is what got his mouth in trouble, right? But that's the problem right there. Certain individuals don't want you to be that boisterous individual that's speaking out. Oh, he's an ignorant Negro. Look how he talk. You know what I'm saying? Look how braggadocious he is. That wasn't the case. Muhammad Ali was direct when he spoke. He told you straight up, I'm not going to Vietnam. Those Vietnamese people ain't never done nothing to me. So I'm not going to fight for a country that has always oppressed my people. Like listen, let me tell you something. Back in those days, you got to have some balls to talk like that on national TV when you know they could have served your head on a platter. Mm. Now, granted, he had two weapons, right? His fist, and he could have defended himself, but it wouldn't have been enough. Not the way that they were killing our people back then. It wouldn't have been enough, right? So I would have loved to sit with Muhammad Ali and ask him questions as to why he felt he was so right when he spoke about wanting or not wanting to fight for this country, right? And wanting to just express himself the way he did. I just saw him as fearless. He did not care. He did not care what you thought about him. He's going to say what he had to say, right? And I don't know. It's just something about Muhammad Ali that just stands out at me. And it's something that lives in me, that will live in me for the rest of my life. I just really appreciated his candor, and that's what I take most from Muhammad Ali. His bravery and his candor stands out to me the most. And the fourth individual for me would actually be Denzel Washington.
Oh, that's a good one.
Pay attention, Kings, because I ain't got no other group of people on this list but the Kings. All right. So Denzel Washington is, to me, a national treasure, right? And I know people are saying, well, he's an actor. Can we really consider him a national treasure? Yes, the hell we can. Yes, the hell we can. If you've ever heard the speech that Denzel Washington gave to the graduating class at Howard University, if I'm not mistaken,
yeah, I heard it.
You might want to go on YouTube and check that out, right? I mean, are you kidding me? Denzel Washington is a leader in every aspect. Every aspect, he's a leader, right? I watched a show that Jamie Foxx used to have where he would have actors come into his trailer I can't remember the name of the show, but Jamie Foxx had this show. It was short-lived, but he had this show where he would have actors come into his trailer and just kind of talk to them and, talk to them about, their career and stuff like that. And he had Denzel Washington with him. And Denzel Washington had no idea how much Jamie Foxx appreciated him as a human being, right? And not to leave out Jamie's significance to the world either. You know what I'm saying? Jamie Foxx is an amazing individual as well. But Denzel Washington changed the way we all look at film, right? He changed the way we all look at film. And I just, beyond his professionalism, I think his wisdom is what gets me the most. Denzel Washington, whenever he speaks, it almost feels like you have to listen, right? It almost feels like you have to listen. You don't want to miss anything. And that's how I feel when I think about Denzel Washington. I feel like I have to listen because I don't want to miss nothing. Because every time he speaks, he dropping gems. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I don't want to miss that. So I take it upon myself to literally go on YouTube and look for certain interviews that he has or has had. And I just listen. I listen. And I would love to sit with Denzel Washington and just forget picking his brain, but I just want to listen to why he's so confident in himself. Because that's what you see when you hear him speak. He don't stutter when he speak. He just speak. And one thing I always love about this man is that he's such a proud Black man. Mm-hmm. He really is. If you pay attention to his interviews, he won't let you undermine the fact that he's a proud African-American Black man. He will not let you undermine him. I can't remember the interview, but there was a Caucasian woman who asked him a question during one of his movie premieres, and he checked her right then and there. He checked her right then and there. I can't remember exactly what she said to him, but he made sure she understood that, you know what? I take that back. I can't think of the movie, but I know Viola Davis was in there with him. And the person in the crowd asked him, do you think the movie would have been better with a white director? I think that was the question. And Denzel Washington looked at her and he said, it has nothing to do with a white director. It's about culture, right? That's exactly what he said to her. He said, it has nothing to do with a white director. It has everything to do with culture. Do they understand
I seen
our
that.
culture? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Offensive?
He said,
yeah, because he said something about Steven Spielberg produced what he
there
produced.
We go.
Yeah, I seen that.
Correct. And I can't think of the movie right now, but the lady asked him, do you think this movie would have been even better or better if Steven Spielberg or a white director would have directed it?
Yeah.
And he said, you see, and everybody paused. Like everybody, all the Black actors that were on the stage with him, they paused because when he started speaking, he commands respect when he speaks. So
I think it was Fences, the movie Fences.
Fences. Exactly. Fences, which was a great movie too. Oh, so Denzel agrees. So Denzel goes, it has nothing to do with whether the director was white or not. It has everything to do with culture, right? And I think that's the problem we have today in society is that individuals who don't understand our culture, right? Even though they're culture vultures, right? Because when we do it, it's horrible. But when they do it, it's new. Oh, wow, look at it. Wow, they came up with something new. It ain't new. We came up with it. You just took it. You know what I'm saying? So
DJ Vlad, culture vulture.
He started on
right. Listen, man, it's anyways. But Denzel would definitely be that individual that I would love to sit with and just understand why he exudes so much confidence. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to make this quick, but I really, really appreciate this moment, man. And my final individual that I would love to sit with till this day, and I'm always want to sit with this individual, is not Mr., not this guy or this man, but President Barack Obama, right? I actually read his book. I can't think of the name right now off the top of my head, but it's in my it's called A Promised Land by Barack Obama. And I started to read that book. And when I read the book, it gave me a better understanding of the man that a lot of people did not want to see on that podium, right? It just gave me a better example. Now, a lot of people would say, did you vote for President Obama because he was Black?
Yep.
Or did you vote for him because you felt like he could do the job? Think about that question I just asked, right? This is what they were saying. Nah, you voted for him because he was Black. Or did you vote for him because you knew he could do the job? Right? I'm not asking you guys that question. That was rhetorical. What I'm saying is, I always look forward to those questions because I'm always ready, right? I'm always ready. So when I hear questions like that from certain individuals, I already know that you didn't want him there. I already know that. When you ask me a pointed question like that, a loaded question, as they would say, I already know you didn't want him there. So I'll say this. My answer to that question is always the same. You damn right I voted for him because he was Black, first of all. And secondly, I knew he could do the job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I knew he could do the job. So yeah, of course I voted for him, but he was Black. But most importantly, I voted for him because I truly in my heart felt like he could do the job, right? And I felt like, you know, a lot of people feel like he didn't do his best as the president, but I'll wait for any one of you 4 or 5 to tell me which president has done their best.
Hey, go to the Middle East and ask all them damn terrorists.
Thank you.
Boy,
Thank you.
If they hear Barack Obama's name, they running.
Listen, the point I'm trying to make is he did the best he could do with what he was given, right? You left him with the national debt ceiling way high, right? And it was his job to bring the debt ceiling down and try to make something out of this presidency. Obviously, he did pretty damn good. He did it twice. Right? He did it twice, 2 terms. A Black man, 2 terms. So something must have been right.
I mean, Gene, he always was gonna be up against it. That's what it was. So
agree.
You nailed it. When you say 2 terms and to know that you're up against it and still win out, come on. Yeah. Take a look at the last couple of presidents. Who's been more prepared than he was? Just listen to him speak.
Exactly.
This man was so prepared.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous the amount of knowledge, or I can just think about it. I think about, you know, when I'm on the trail and how prepared I get. Like I'm up hours.
Ready. Oh yeah.
I can only think the amount of time this man spent in preparation, man. And people just totally negate that fact.
I agree.
You know, we standing.
Go ahead, Sam.
We stand in the mirror like hours, standing in the mirror, giving a class to yourself. And I remember, Gene, I was doing that, and I walked down the hall, walked past old room. He in there talking. I'm thinking he on the phone. Door, and I'm saying he in the mirror. And so I said, man, do you stand in the mirror and give yourself a class before the next day? You know how it is when we get ready to pick up, and you like, yeah. And all of us was doing the same thing, you know. So that preparation is key.
It is, and guess what? He was always prepared, right? He was always prepared for the toughest questions. Right. And also he had this little quip about him where he would wait for the reporter to ask him them loaded dumbass questions, right? And he'd give you that look like, come on. Yeah, I already knew it was coming. I was just waiting for you to ask, right? So President Barack Obama, I would love to sit down with and just tell him how much I appreciate the work that he did, whether people thought it was good or bad. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't, because y'all didn't want him there in the first place. But I did appreciate the fact that you took this job in stride, right? And you did the best you could, right? That's all you could do in any job that you find yourself in. Even as drill sergeants in the Army, we don't always get it right. We effed it up quite a few times. We effed it up, right? But guess what? I wake up that very next day, whatever, and I told Sam this a while back when we were back in California, stationed in California. I said, look, if I mess up something in the class, I go back to my room and I do an after action review on myself. And I say to myself, where could I have improved when I gave this class? Now remember, we weren't just drill sergeants in California. We were combat instructors. We were subject matter experts for individuals that were going to combat and putting their lives on the line, right? So the stuff that we taught has to be accurate. It has to be right. Because if they remember what we taught them and we taught it to them wrong, they could lose their lives in combat.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. So I had to give myself an after action review in the evening. Sam asked me too. He said, Gene, what you do when you mess it up? I said, I go back to my room and I do an AAR on myself.
Right. You remember I started putting that in my last.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Because I'm like, man, I got to do better. I'm sending these people's kids off to combat. I got to do better. And that's what made me good at my job, right? And I'm pretty sure President Barack Obama does the same thing. He went back, did the same thing. He went back and he just did an after action review on himself on what he could have did better during his, time at the presidency.
Oh yeah.
So listen, Jay, I got
go ahead.
So I will never forget the day they said they got Osama bin Laden. I'm telling you right now, when they said that man got, he came in and said, I'm going to get Osama bin Laden.
Right,
and I'm gonna do it within 2 years. And he did it. I remember the day. It was, you couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It was one of my happiest days as a black man.
And you know why? Because a lot of people thought he couldn't do it. Yeah, exactly. So
I was in the barracks chilling.
Yeah, I mean, it was a monumental moment, right? He did what others couldn't do while they were at the helm. You know what I'm saying? So gentlemen, I appreciate you, but those are my 5 African-American Black kings that I would have loved to sit with or would like to sit with. Thank you.
Man, we appreciate you, Gene. And
appreciate it.
Man, now imagine trying to give a class, a cultural awareness class, after he just did a 3-hour block of instruction on
right.
Beat. Right. I felt like
you never want to go behind him.
Yeah.
I go before you, man. Go behind you.
Yeah.
You ain't going after Gene.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hey, he did a 3-hour block of instruction, didn't even take a breath. And I had to come behind and do a little 5-minute cultural awareness class. As soon as I got up there and start talking, they start walking out. I gotta go to the latrine. They didn't move, man. But man, thank you. But I do, when you was talking about the job that we had, man, I had that conversation with all y'all, but I talked to my brother TY, man. I said, man, I'm giving these classes. Ty, you remember this? I said, I'm giving these classes and these people going to combat. I don't have no combat experience, So that was tough for me to do that. But he, like the rest of y'all told me, just put out the right information. As long as you're putting out the facts, that's all you got to stand on. As long as you know what you're talking about, you putting out the facts, no opinions, you're gonna be all right. And that's why every time at the end of every cycle, all our names are in. They stopped reading the AAR comments.
Oh man,
because our names was just like all over the AAR.
And Ty, what I told your brother was in the army is one of the I want to say one of the only, but I'm gonna leave it at that. But you know if somebody's been to combat or not, or if they've been overseas, because your combat patch is on your right shoulder, right? So people will know if it's a blank spot there, they know you haven't been to combat, right?
Correct.
But what I told Sam was his aura and his presence alone commands attention, just like Muhammad Ali, right? And what I told him was, don't focus on the fact that you haven't been to combat. That's not why these people are here. They're here to make sure you're training them correctly so that they don't die in combat. You know what I'm saying? So don't look at it as, man, I ain't never been to combat. Man, put that shit to the side. That's not why you here. That's not why they brought you here to come train these people. They brought you here because the Army trained you to be the best for the job. So that's all you have to display. That's it. That's all you have to display. The fact that you were trained to be the best to do this job. And that's why you're here, or you wouldn't have been here. So that's, I always told him that. Him and I always spoke. And I always told him that, look, stop thinking like that. That's not why you're here. I need you to be a little more positive about this situation, because the more you think, I have it, or I can't, you're not going to be a good instructor that way.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You shut down immediately. Right? And I always tell my students this. I used to teach 8th grade science, right? And I used to tell my students, the minute you tell Mr. Eugene you can't, you already failed.
right.
Right? Because it's the mind, it's psychological. When you tell yourself you can't do something, you failed already. You didn't even give yourself a chance. You failed. So that's my takeaway from that.
Peace.
Gentlemen, thank you. I appreciate it.
Peace to the God. Let's go,
to
brother
the
O.
God. Uh-oh.
That was good. Just like we were saying, you didn't want to come behind him when we was at 400 meters. I'm right behind him. But I'm gonna do my best. I appreciate being here and conversing with everybody, and it's good to see everybody looking good and bringing that enthusiasm and on this good subject. And I'm gonna be a little personal with my first one. My first pick is my great grandfather, John Murray, and the reason I pick him is because I would always see his picture when I walk in. I was raised by my grandparents right there on the same land that he came up on. And as soon as you walk through the front door in the house, there's a portrait of him right there in black and white. And he got one of the most meanest looks on his face, like he ain't never smiled. And I asked my grandma, I was like, he looked so serious in this portrait. Did he ever smile? And she said, nope. But he was a preacher, and he founded the church that's still out there where I grew up today, like over probably close to 150 years old now. But he founded the church, had a big family. Pretty much all our family lives in that area, or somebody from the family lives in that area still. His direct line of descendants, my grandmother's one of them. She was actually the youngest out of 14 or 15. And one of the oldest, she passed away maybe 10 years ago. Like when we first went out to Liggett, she was 105 at the time. And it looks like my grandma going the same way because she's in her 90s right now. Wow. Now, the females, they get into the 90s and the 100s, but the males, they stop around late 70s, because they were drinking. They was getting it in. They wasn't doing all the things that probably taking years off their life. They would be living long too, because a few of them did get into the 80s. But you see that lineage, and it's there. And then he's got the church going, and it's still there. And I like all our families, relatives, cousins, and descendants from the original family still carrying on the tradition with the church. And I just wanted to get I never met him, of course, but I just wanted to get there and be able to talk with him to see his reasoning, because he just looked so serious in that portrait. So I'm pretty sure everything's gonna be like just direct, straightforward, and as practical as can be, because that's the time they was in. I think he was like during the Depression time, so everything was real like straightforward, and there wasn't no time for lollygagging. And that's how my grandparents raised me, pretty much.
Yeah, I remember those stories you used to tell about your grandfather.
Yeah, man, those were the best, man.
There was those them sweet moments, but they was like, you remember them because of how short they were. But for the most part, it was like, you get down to business and do the work. And even at the church, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, this is where I actually learned how you conduct business. Just going to the church during the conference on Saturday. And I was like, man, everybody else on Saturday, they out, watching cartoons or having fun, playing basketball, baseball stuff. I'm stuck in church. So I had to think about it. Like, why am I here? This is the Saturdays when they would conduct the church business, like all the offerings that they took in. Now they talking about how they're going to disperse it. Where is it going? And you start to understand like what they're doing for the community as well.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that money that was coming in, some of us got to go over here to sick and shut in, or somebody that might have got evicted or just put out, they just in a hard way and they need some assistance. So all of that would come
Deacons
up.
Putting it in their pocket.
Yeah. And it was like, back then it wasn't, you hardly ever heard about a mega church. It was like a big church.
Right.
It was like regional in that one region, but it wasn't anything like mega churches where people from all around the globe is going to that one church. It's pretty much like the church that we was at was just for our community. And then it was part of a larger community because it was like an association with other churches. So they had it all broken down. Like our church weekend was the third weekend in the month. Somebody else in the association, you go to church the first weekend, second weekend, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So, and that was the association. And they come to your church on the third Sunday, build up your offering and everything. You do the same thing for them on the other weekends. And that just I wasn't down with it when I was young, but staying in it so long, you get an understanding of how things are run. And lo and behold, if you get in the business of dealing with it in any kind of way nowadays, it's like the same stuff I was learning sitting up in that little church with that damn hot ass heater. About to burn my socks off my legs. Tell my uncle, hey man, he's like, can we turn this heater down? He's like, just go sit on the other side of the church.
Get one of the fans.
Yeah, so no, it was like a gas heater. They had a wooden one, but it had been switched out to this gas heater, and that thing would get hot. And I was like, why? It's like when you first get in there, it's sweet. But then after about 5-10 minutes, you're like, woo, start peeling off all layers of clothes and stuff. Want to go to sleep. And they're like, hey, don't go to sleep. Because if you go to sleep, something might happen to you. So it's like you learn everything right there in that little church, like learn church business, how to conduct business, because they always had the procedure. Start off with what's the business for the day, new business, unfinished business, and then they had it all in the different categories, and then they had somebody that was taking the minutes down for everything that we talked about, so nothing was left undone, nothing was out of place. And I was like, I want to talk to my great grandfather to see like where did he get it from? How long has that process been in the play? And if it has been, I think it was like our folks that was always doing it like that. And that's something I wanted to ask him about. And I also asked him, like, where did our folks come from as far as he know? Like his ancestors and everything like that, because it's something that I got an interest in as far as checking records to see the family genealogy, not the DNA stuff, but the actual like documents,
Gotcha.
like who begat who, and who what part of the family is over here, and like you break them down into clans or however you want to do it. So it's like something I probably get into after I get done with Uncle Sam, and I can actually sit down and spend some time with it, and go wherever I need to go to pull the right thing. And the good thing about that is, like, anybody that was in service, the document's there. You just got to find it. If they pulled any kind of service, they own some kind of role or something like that, where there's a record of the time that they spend in service, and you can go in there and say, okay, this is my uncle, or this is my great uncle, or somebody like in the direct line, and then you can put it all together and draw like a big picture from that. So number one, yeah, that's my great grandfather, and I probably just to get him to talk to me, I don't know what I would have to do, because I'm telling you, when you see that portrait, it's like he looked like he was a man of a few words, but he looked like if he had to put his hands on you, he'd probably tear your ass right off. like all of my all the relatives on that side, they like slim, but like they got like these strong hands, like they just been banging hammers and turning wrenches all day. So when you shake hands with them, they'll put you down on your knee just
Squeeze
about.
your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can see it, like all of them, they can't hold them straight out like this. It just got them. They got like that claw effect, like Kawhi Leonard or something. So yeah, that would be my first one, and that was like a little bit close to home. So let me see. The next one would be Colin Powell. So
Good.
Colin Powell, when I first came into the military, that was like his time to shine there, because he was the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and he was right there in Washington, D.C. or Fort Myers, where I would eventually be at my first duty station. So he wasn't there. He had already left by the time I got there, but it was still like people still talk about his tenure while he was there. And I remember buying the book, his autobiography, and it was like real thick. I was like, man, this is like this is the thickest book I ever attempted to read. But he wrote it, so he like a first Black general that I knew of at the time. Not when you get deeper into it, but Army history, Black people's history, then you find out about other folks. But as far as like knowing a Black general, he was the first one for me. So, and it kind of like got that resemblance, he light skinned. So where did all that come from? And he goes about it. He tells you where it came from in the book. I think he was like from the Caribbean. So if you know anything about the Caribbean, then you can kind of he spells it all out in autobiography.
Yeah, and
But he
I
talks
read about him. I remember reading about him too. He went. I remember when he got drafted to go to Vietnam. When he came back, he volunteered to go back like 6 times or something, man.
Yeah. And then he like when you take into account like what Gene was saying about Muhammad Ali. Now here's a guy on the other side of the spectrum that volunteers to go into it. Right. How did he do that?
Right.
Mm-hmm. And that brings into play like not just them, but any other field. Like just like they always got like Democrats, Republicans, and Apple people versus the Android people. There's two sides. It seems like there's two sides, and a lot of times they want to play them off of each other.
Gene.
Right. But then you when you see that, you just got to tell yourself like it's just two different ends of the same thing. So you just got to get into the details of what's going on with these people and what was their thinking patterns behind what they was doing or how they was addressing the public. And then for me, I think I just gravitated towards them because when I decided to join the military, it was a good fit for me as far as how I like to be organized and how I like to conduct routine daily business. Like, it kind of did suck at basic training, waking up so early, because drill sergeant just got a hair up his butt about something. So you're gonna wake up at 4:30. So you deal with that, but that's only like a couple of months. But then when you get to your first duty station, then you can get into your own routine and start to understand things about how you like to do your daily business. So for me, and then being in Washington, D.C. area, my first duty station, that was sweet too, because that's pretty much like a military community other than the politics. So it's a lot of brass around there. There's a lot of high senior enlisted folks. And not saying they're going to automatically take you under their wing, but if you hold yourself to a certain way and that they can notice you, then they start sharing a few things with you, and you got to be ready when they drop them nuggets, because it's just going to be one time. So somebody that's spending a lot of time like reiterating stuff with you, that's not the typical mentor that's got stuff going on. So you got to take that into account too. So with General Colin Powell, it's like he did those things in Vietnam, and then from there he was able to go progress his career and go into Desert Storm. And I think that's when we first noticed him on television during that time. And I was like, hey, that look like a black dude. So as soon as he catch your eye, you like, okay, what's going on with him? And then that's when he like, okay, let me gather more information about him. He's got an autobiography out. Let me get that. So another thing in the autobiography that he touches on is just talking about leadership. And that's something that we all come to know real well, being in the Army. And especially when we was in California at 400 Liggett, if you wasn't getting your good ration of leadership, you was definitely getting it when we was out there. Because we had dealing with other soldiers on a daily basis, making sure that they doing what they supposed to do, making sure that they got that right information, making sure that they could give it back to you after you give it to them. And just learning all those things, learning all those leadership skills, learning why it's important, learning what it can do for you, what it can do for us. And, just having so much exposure to it. Initially, I was thinking like, it's just a extension of what I grew up doing. So it's not anything new. It's just, I was just getting the basics when I was with my grandparents at home. Then when I decided to join the military, just kind of eased right into it. And the drill sergeants are like, well, you seem like you pretty level-headed and stuff. We're gonna slap you in this squad leader position, see what happens. And I was like, then now you got to deal with other personalities and see what's up with. You actually got to learn people. So that's like the biggest thing about leadership is like, you don't just bark out the orders, you actually learn these people. Everybody's got their own little thing going on. No two people are the same. So what's this white dude from the Midwest going to respond to? Because he probably ain't never been around no black folks giving them orders before. Right. So what's going to make him get in line? Did he come up that way so it ain't no big issue, or what's it going to be? So those are the type of situations that the leadership, being in a leadership position, would bring up. And if you go into the autobiography of Colin Powell, he talks about some of those things. And it's like, if you read it once, some things get by you, so just check it out again. And then like some of these other folks I'm gonna talk to that's got books, it's like you're pretty much gonna start building your own personal library if you're really serious about it. And just keep going back to it, revisit it. And the older you get, you're still learning. You probably won't stop learning until you're dead. So that's that's my major thing. Just keep on learning. Something new to learn every day. A couple of things to learn every day. And sometimes, I think to myself, well, I'm almost half a year old, and I feel just like a dumb rock sometimes. But whatever, you just got to pick it up and say, well, I learned something today, and I'm good, and that keep you humble. So yeah, General Colin Powell is the second one, and I'm glad that a lot of not just Black folks, but everybody that's patriotic, that loves the Army and loves soldiers and soldiering, they appreciate him too. Now, see the next one. I'm gonna trip you up on the next one because he's still alive. Herbie Hancock.
Oh wow!
So I like Herbie Hancock because if a little bit of history on I think he was born in Chicago, and he was like a prodigy coming up on the piano. So like at a real young age, he was able to play with Miles Davis and his band. And that's when he got to go all around the world and perform for different folks and everything. But he was real sharp on the piano, different styles and everything. Coming up on the Miles Davis is going to be a lot of improvisation and different styles and creativity and everything. So
that's a learning experience within itself.
Yeah. And so even I think he tells a story one time, he hit a wrong note or something like that. And instead of stopping the whole song and man, what the hell is you doing? Miles Davis just played the same, was able to pull something out of it and keep the song going. So that's that brings up the creativity that's just inside of all of us if you know how to go in there and pull it out.
Right.
And he just was with Miles, and then when he started to break off and do his own thing, he was always like a techie person. So by the time he get into the 70s and stuff, when he started growing that afro out, then he started getting into getting from the piano and getting into all the synthesizers and what do you call it, the Moog. Yeah, started still playing on all that, and then if you listen to the music, it's like a masterpiece, but you listening to all these electronic sounds and everything that's playing in there. And then when it gets into the 80s, that song Rocket, that's got the scratching and everything in it. Do 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 do. And that's when I first heard about Herbie Hancock, was looking at it on MTV when he had the video with
all that stuff,
with all the mannequins and stuff going across the screen. That was when I first noticed him. I'm like, this and then they showed him and it was like, what is this black dude with glasses? Oh, that's Herbie Hancock. So just focusing on from the 80s into the going forward into the present time, I'm thinking he brand new from the 80s. But he had a whole catalog from way back when we started going back to Miles Davis. So now this is what I'm listening to most of the time now, the stuff before the 80s. And especially you get into the stuff in the 70s, and he's got this one song, I think it's called the Hornets or something like that. And it's him and these other dudes, and when they playing, it sounds like hornets buzzing, but it's got a beat to it. And I had to think of the daggone name of that album, but it's you just pick something like that. You let's make a song that sounds like some hornets buzzing, and then you put a beat on it, and it's got a catchy groove to it. And I don't know what time if it was 4x4 beats or how he was playing it, because it sounded like it's a little bit off, but they pull it together, and he's at the point now where that's pretty much how he can do a song. I saw him, he was on a documentary, and he can write the music, but he's not filling out every little note. He's just writing the bar and the measure, And then wherever you would write the notes, he's like, well, I'm gonna do this right here in this one, and I'm gonna do something like this over here in this one. And I like just real quick, just jotting it out. So when he starts playing the actual song, and then you see like, okay, like in this bar, this is when he gonna play around on this octave or whatever. And then on the next bar, he gonna do something totally different. But in the end, it's all one song. And I'm like, he been doing that for so long, man. It's like, he just like walking creator at this point. And he made a full lifetime out of it. And what threw me for a loop, he said one time he was smoking crack. And I was like, yo, not Herbie, man. Not Herbie wasn't smoking no crack cocaine, man. But he was like, yeah. And I don't know what got him on it, but then when he started like getting into spirituality, I think he's like a Buddhist or something now. So he got that's what helped pull him out, just being focused on being more spiritual. And then now he's at the point where you might have like a different jazz artist, like a younger jazz artist, and you go to their concert and they perform, especially if you're around in that California area. Lo and behold, he come walking up on stage with his synthesizer, with the one that you carry over your shoulder, and they be like, ladies and gentlemen, Herbie Hancock. He come out here like, doing his thing, and it's like that just took the whole concert to another level.
Yes, sir.
Right, a whole nother level. So that's like, I was thinking about it, like I listen to his music so much now that when I want to change a mood that I'm in, I know if I listen to this song by him, it's definitely gonna do the trick. I'm gonna feel better after I listen to this song. And
wow.
I mean, if anybody's just like loves jazz, he's definitely got to be on one of the people that's that you listen to. So that was number 3. And then I got one. I don't know if anybody heard of him, but he just like recently passed away. Dr. Laila Africa, and the first name is 2 L's, Laila, and Africa with a K, Afrika. So I was when I was in California, like after everybody else left to go, back home after Liggett, I stayed out there with the 63rd RSC, what is it now? Regional Division or something like that now, RD. And while I was out there, that's when I like started looking at YouTube stuff on my phone. So I don't know how I got started, but the algorithm ain't like it is now. So I think it was just blind luck. I was pulling up some of this stuff on YouTube now. So then this guy comes up and he's talking, he's basically focused on African holistic health. So, but he breaks it down like your uncle would. So he tells you like right off the bat, like everything white ain't good for you. So if you eating white flour, white sugar, what is it, white salt,
rice,
oh yeah, white, you eating all that white stuff, you probably taking years off your life. So as you listen to him on the videos, it's entertaining. But if you get his book, and I think what's the name of the book, African Holistic Health, it's a real thick book, but it pulls holistic health from like back from the ancestors. So some of the diagrams in there that you could use, like if you look at your face or you look at your hand, and you just do your own like health diagnosis. Like you might see your boy or something look like they got them dark circles around their eyes,
right,
a lot of lines in their face, and you could pretty much be like, hey, look, you doing something with your kidneys or something.
Yeah.
With your liver or something like that.
Yeah.
What you been eating lately? You say, look, you might want to do like a detox or something, or drink some more water, something like you make a quick assessment on them like that, and help somebody out. But that was like the main thing from him. And then what he would talk about that was like just like really knocked me out of the park is food combining. So certain foods that you eat together, that's what's going to start all that disruption when it's trying to digest in your gut.
Oh, interesting.
So even like melons, any kind of melon, you pretty much want to eat that by itself. Don't eat it with anything else, especially not in like a meat or something like that. That's just gonna tear you up. So, you know, everything he says, you pretty much like check it out. Like I already knew from experience when he said it that you ain't supposed to be eating it with something else. I was like, oh, that's why my ass had the BG at one time. And then it was the summertime too, so the heat wasn't helping out with that situation either. So he tell you like which fruits you can combine together, like citrus fruits. Citrus fruits you don't want to combine them with. You don't put anything with melons.
No.
Citrus fruits you would eat together, all the berries and stuff, keep them together. And then like if you're gonna eat a meat, then it'll probably be with something like a squash or something like it. He's got the charts in there like these are the foods that you can eat together that won't cause you any problems, and it'll digest quickly and it won't be sitting inside your gut giving you issues. And then they talk about the times of day where you want to eat. So like early in the morning, eat these foods. In the midday, that's like when you probably had your big meal, but by a certain time of the day, you want to stop eating because that's when like the digestive process is taking place from that time in the evening all the way through the night while you sleep up to the next morning. And if you consume anything at that time, it's just going to delay the digestion. More than likely, that stuff is going to be sitting in your stomach, and then you don't know when it's going to all come clearing out. So yeah, that's it's basic stuff like that. He'll get into it with you, and then of course he was like a strict vegan. So if you gonna continue to eat meat, he probably ain't gonna pull no punches with you. But he'll say if you're gonna do it, then this is like the ideal amount to consume at one time, and then wait so long, this amount of time before you start eating it again. So not to cause yourself any more trouble than you already having because you eat meat.
Right.
So that, I know. And then like I said, the videos is real entertaining because he don't pull any punches with anybody. And I think he actually got started out with the Army. He was like a nurse in the Army or something like that. And it was taking him all around the world. And that's when he was able to learn from different cultures and stuff, just watching them and seeing how they did things. And I mean, like,
you got to share that in our group text too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I'm thinking like right up until when he passed, you know, he was still like in optimum shape for a man his age, and actually looked younger than he actually was. And then he was able to he had him a young wife that was doing the same things he was, so they was like a duo together, going out and teaching people about the holistic health and stuff. Nice. So yeah, I'll send that to you, Dr. Laila Africa.
Oh yeah.
And and I'll send a picture of that book too, African Holistic Health. It's real thick, but it's like all inclusive, everything that you would need to know and like just basic stuff. It ain't you ain't got to have a medical degree to understand it.
Right.
It's pretty straightforward.
And you know I love sharing the books, man. Keep doing that.
Yeah. Well, that was 4. I got one more. So this one, and this is a female on this one, but she's so good that she was like an eye opener. This one I was like, my awareness about stuff, about being Black, our people, and from her, it's kind of like now I'm interested in history. I was never interested in history before, But now she helped me make the connection about why you look into it. It'll answer some things for you. You don't know your history, you bound to repeat the same thing over and over again. So
Exactly.
this one is Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. And she wrote this book called the ISIS Papers. And she was from Chicago too. She was born in Chicago too, but she moved to DC, and she got she was a psychiatrist. Now, all those guys like what's the name? Those German psychiatrists that they always like to talk about in school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like they always just seem weird as hell to me, like some of the stuff they talk about. So you try and tell me if I go to sleep and I have this crazy dream that, you know, I want to have sex with my mama or some craziness like that. How do you draw that line?
Yeah, how do you equate that
that
to just my dream, right?
Yeah, Freud. That's Freud.
Freud.
Like how did you get that? And then so like if you actually go into the man's history and understand like things he was doing when he was young, you'd be like, oh hell no, I can't. How did he make it? How did anybody start listening to him? But Frances Cress Welsing, I'm like, if I'm going to be following a psychiatrist, yeah, one is probably going to be one of our folks, and then two is it makes sense when you just listen to it for 5 minutes. Definitely makes more sense than what Freud was talking about.
So, how you last name on that? Oh, it's
Welsing. Welsing. Welsing.
Got it.
And then she was talking about white supremacy. White supremacy is the conspiracy. So, you know, you talk to folks now, they're like, oh, you being a conspiracy theorist. So you got to kind of like take that with a grain of salt, you know, like I'm not just playing devil's advocate all the time and everything, but white supremacy is a thing. And then when you start researching that, you're going to see how involved it is with everything. Right. And I'm like, now I know I ain't just talking out the side of my neck or being crazy when I ask questions about stuff is out there a little bit. So her main thing was like the reason white supremacy exists is because white folks know that if Black people multiply, it's pretty much the genetic annihilation of white folks. So i.e. a Black man gets with a white woman or white
vice versa.
Vice versa, the baby is going to be Black.
The bloodline is done.
Right. So she gets into how that affected politics, economics, and pretty much how we was getting phased out or everything. Because you think about it, we all know about all the Black Wall Streets that were dispersed around the country and how they pretty much was taken out. Correct. Pretty much for that reason. So she goes into it on a psychological level, talking about the perceptions that white folks would have of Black people, and then goes into economics, law, how the laws was developed, how the economics was developed. And then, you know, people always ask like, well, why Black people ain't doing that? We was doing that and pretty much got taken out of it. So it's like, if somebody's asking that question, you already know automatically that they could get some more history about it. Right. And you can start, you can start off with Tulsa, Oklahoma. And even like closer to home, like where I grew up, Durham, Greensboro, all of those had black communities that had thriving businesses. Correct. Like when they like the civil rights movement, they was like, who was it? I can't remember who was saying like the worst thing that ever happened to Black people was the integration, because they had their own Black bus lines, right? And they could have just stayed. They would have been good, but then they wanted to integrate on the white bus lines, and they wanted you to sit at the back of the bus.
You said who? You said who did that?
I can't remember who.
Dr. Claude Alexander.
Well, that's yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Anderson. Yeah, Claude Anderson. I got some of his stuff too. But yeah, she goes into that whole thing, and she talks about why white folks love guns and weapons so much, because that's the great equalizer. And if you think about it, the way a revolver or a pistol looks, it would be like an erect penis and you holding it in your hand to take a brother. Man, you got to get that boy, get it the ISIS papers. The ISIS papers. She go into it.
Yeah, that's deep, man.
It's like a series of essays that she just came up with. It was her and another psychiatrist, Neely Fuller. And he wrote a couple of books too. And if you YouTube them, you Google them, they got some stuff on YouTube. A lot of places that they went and spoke to people. And yeah, I think that's she was just significant for me, because it just, that at the time I like, all I'm doing is going to work trying to get folks from the IRR to go get back into a TPU. I need an outlet for something else. So got on YouTube, started looking up some stuff. And I was like, okay, now this is a good start. So now I'm making enough money where I can start getting some books and stuff.
Exactly.
And start reading up on them. Now I got a vast library, and that I can pass that knowledge on and let it go forward. And just knowing it and being better for myself. And
knowledge, wisdom, understanding.
Just knowing more, just knowing better than the day before. So it's sweet.
Nice.
Hey, that was a great list. Oh, hey,
thank you, brother.
I want to share some 2 moments about
Right now.
Y'all remember when we went to go see Bruce. we booed Bruce in there, man. And O started laughing because me and Joe wanted to fight Bruce. You know what I'm saying? But another time, I listened to you talking about Herbie Hancock and all that, because that's where your creativity come from, man, because you always been different. When we get dressed up to go somewhere,
oh man.
He make you want to go take off what you got on.
Go back in there. Go back in
the
there.
house.
Because that shit you got on ain't gonna
Come on.
It ain't working. You know what I'm saying? So I love your list, man. Gotta see where it come from. You know what I'm saying?
My swagger from. I still think about the way some of them outfits.
I'm like, man.
Listen. He literally make you feel like, yeah, you ain't doing enough. You might want to go back in there if you coming out with me.
Hey, so it's all part of the master plan that I'm up here in Detroit, because now I'm getting humble by the dudes up here. You can't touch them.
Hey, he made me and O and Gene, when I had that Suburban, we went to McGee, wherever that place is, to the outlet. You remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think we probably spent about $6,000 shopping, man. We ain't had no room in the car.
Yeah. About
you know
$2,000 a piece. Yeah.
Trying to be like, man.
Oh man.
Hey, Will. It's on you, Will.
Oh, my bad. I ain't hear you. Y'all hear me just fine?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
First and foremost, man, thank you, gentlemen, for inviting me. I am super excited to be here. Glad to see my brother Gene. Glad to see O. Definitely you, Sam. And TY, thank you. This is my first time us meeting, but hopefully in the future, we'll spend a lot more time together. Gene, I'm gonna start with your list first, man. I'm glad I'm taking notes, man. I'm gaming stuff I know. So definitely, man, I gotta point out Denzel Washington, man. That's like one of my favorite dudes on earth.
Same here.
One of my favorite movies ever, man, is The Book of Eli, man. I'll probably watch that movie
Yeah.
100 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
When I think about myself, that's who I think I am. Like I'm
Yeah.
this.
When he had that iPod on, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Bruh, come on.
I didn't even know he was blind.
I ain't know he was blind either.
I'm telling you, man. And that's the point I'm trying to make. It's amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I gotta hit your list, man. I'm gonna go. You had a couple on here that I'm definitely interested in, but I'm gonna pick out the holistic doctor.
Herbie
I
Hancock.
have no idea who this person is, but I'm going to find out who it is because I got a couple health issues myself that I'm dealing with, and I'm trying to figure this shit out. Like I ain't never had high blood pressure. What the hell going on?
Right.
Exercise. I don't eat a lot of salt, hardly any meat.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right, man. So let's jump right into this. First person I'm gonna name off is definitely still alive. He's I like the way he carries himself, how he goes about his work, and definitely all the things that he's involved in. He's definitely a person for us. And if you don't know much about him, just look him up. He ain't hard to find. It's Killer Mike.
Yeah.
Killer Mike. First thing I want to hit on is just him being an artist. True professional. He loves his craft. He takes it very serious. I mean, you can go anybody that can stand up to and walk the same line as Outkast and still be able to hold your own. That's got to carry some weight.
For sure.
Just from how he started out, just from some of the songs like the Adidas song, you all might know that song. That wasn't Killer Mike's favorite song. Like his first album wasn't really, truly who Killer Mike is. Until you get into his later albums, you start figuring out Killer Mike is a whole nother person. You start to see that. You start to see the activists come out.
Wow.
That's the person. This is the person that I absolutely fell in love with. Is the activist Killer Mike. This dude has got to be one of the most intelligent speakers I have ever seen come from the streets. And I'm telling you, but if you go back to his history and how he grew up, he has always been this way. Even through school, he was always an activist.
Wow.
And that's what really intrigued me with him. And that's why I follow him consistently. I always want to know what he's doing. Next thing, is his entrepreneurial skills. You've heard some of his music. He started out in the slums of Atlanta. He was probably one of those kids that didn't have to. Killer Mike's father was actually a police officer. A lot of people might not know that. He saw, and then he had also people in his family that were drug dealers. So he saw, morally, when you think about that, it's like, as a kid, you got to know how that kid is battling that. Like, how do you define the line between the two of those? And which way do you go? Which way is the right way to go? But if you listen to him, he's not one of those people that's against law enforcement, actually. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He just wants to ensure it's done the correct way.
Right.
Which we all want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my first person, man. Definitely love Killer Mike. He's always outspoken. He likes to have fun, still goes to the strip clubs and things of that nature.
With his wife.
If I hadn't got
some of them lemon pepper.
If you hadn't watched, look,
y'all better stop playing.
Yeah, if you watched his special that he had on Netflix, man, go check it out. I forget the name of it, but
I'll find it.
He had one. couple episodes, Gene, but this one in particular episode, Gene, he had the Crips and the Bloods on there.
Wow.
Crips and the Bloods on there, and he brought the two of them together. And what they did was, what they had to do was come up with a marketing scheme to sell a product that they were going to have. And both of them decided to sell soda, pop soda. Yeah. So what they had to do, if I'm correct, they went and got designs for them. They had to talk about the designs, why this design would fit, if it fit their actual branding, and what they actually talked about what each gang, how they originated and what they were for, not what publicity and the media always throws at you. So I thought that was a real intriguing episode that he had on there. And then he had another one about, I want to say it was about like Sovereign, so trying to see if I'm saying the word right, sovereign nations. So he had a
sovereign nation.
So he had a group of people. He was deciding to build his own community. He had they were going to create I'm not sure if it was their own religion or what it was, but they were going to operate within themselves. That was two particular episodes on there that definitely got my attention. So if you all get a chance to check Killer Mike out, check him out. Plus all these dope ass songs they doing with Run the Jewels.
Yeah.
My next person, I'm gonna follow old lead on this one, is actually my great grandfather. I never had a chance to meet him. My father. Well, let me say this: my great grandfather owns a nice portion of property or land in Alabama, South Alabama. Actually, not too far away from Selma. And my grandmother, along with 3 of her sisters, now total, I think it was about 7 or 8 of them, of 8 kids. But unfortunately, I don't know everyone. But I do know my 2 aunts and my grandmother migrated to Georgia when my father was actually really young. And my grandmother recently passed this fall, and I just think about everything she taught me, how great this woman was. Like, if you want to talk about an awesome woman, it is my grandmother. And I've always wanted to know where that came from, who she got that from. And I know my great grandfather's got to be a part of that. And the conversation I want to have with him is, what was his vision for our family?
Wow.
What was his vision for our family? And where did he, start the thing off, and where would he have liked to seen it go? And that's just from having conversations with my father. My father has always preached ownership. Always, from day one. Save your money, ownership, have assets. My dad never went to college, graduated high school, and self-taught everything. I've helped my dad build houses from the ground up, just because he picked a book and read them. That's how my dad is. And I always let him know that. My dad taught me man skills, man, like survival type stuff before I even got in the Army. Like, this dude is building traps on his property as we speak. You know what I'm saying? That's how it treated. And he always talked about my great grandfather. Always. When we would be doing something, Jim did this. This is how we thought. So I was always, even as a kid, I was always intrigued by it. So definitely my great grandfather. I just want to know, what his vision was for our family. And I would like to know myself, am I carrying out a piece of that?
You're doing good.
You're doing great.
My father is always, he saw it as, I'm going to give you the jump start that I didn't necessarily have. I'm gonna preach ownership to you. I want you to be able to walk in anywhere and pay cash for it. I want you to enjoy life and be able to go wherever you want to go. I want you to know it's not all about money. I want to teach you how to love a woman. I mean, Sam, my dad, I mean, I don't like to look at men, but my dad, a nice dude.
That's your dad, yo.
Right.
Dude is so
Yeah.
smooth. This dude is so smooth. I've seen him turn women down in the nicest way, man.
Yeah, you sound like my pop.
And I'm just trying to figure out, like, man, how does dude do this, man? Like, this dude lived in Atlanta single, never once cheated on my mom. Not once. 9 children, bro. So I always wanted to know, you know, where these awesome people in my life came from and where did they begin to, who started laying these morals down, this baseline down for who these people are and who they became. Next person I have is my man, the Black Mamba.
Yeah.
I had to do it.
I know Sam loved that choice right there.
Yeah.
I had to do it. Y'all know we all athletes, bro. I mean, come on.
Great choice. Great choice.
The reason I have Kobe on here is you have to respect this man's hard work. You have to respect the dedication he had to being the absolute best that he could be.
Mhm.
He saw something, he had a goal, and that's what he went for.
Right.
That's one of the things that I always loved about him. I don't follow a lot of I don't follow a lot of sports players. I follow some. And he's one of the sports players that I always follow. And what intrigued me the most is kind of how he started out overseas, and then, you know, eventually coming over to the US and playing. And how, just if you think about that, come on, anybody that's played ball, you can't just go to any court and play ball, bro. When you show up on a court to play ball, it's a different type of mentality everywhere you go. That's why when I eventually started playing ball at high school, like recreation, it was easy because I done played on all these different types of courts. So I always wanted to know what that felt like to play somewhere else overseas and to come to the US and be able to come and play ball on the streets before he even got to the NBA. And then just some of the wherewithal he had as far as overcoming obstacles. I mean, we all know he dealt with some infidelity early on. I think he was just a young man and he wasn't quite ready to be married, to be honest with you. And anybody that, especially with tons of money coming in, playing for the LA Lakers, could have fell victim to that. But the way he, you know, began to overcome that, the person he was in his daughter's lives, and how he was always there, how he coached them, just the different amount of people that he tested, and that's kind of why you all did that for me out in especially when we was in California. I'm not a loud person. I'm not even an outspoken person, but watching you all individually and how you moved always intrigued me. And it made me more comfortable with who I am. I found out certain things about myself. So my third person is Kobe Bryant, man. Black Mamba mentality.
Mhm.
So next, I actually have this gentleman's book, and I was always interested in things about him, but I just didn't know that much about him. And I think it was Nipsey Hussle that he has a books list, and his book was on Nipsey Hussle's list. And I said, I'm gonna cop this book and check it out. J. Prince.
Yeah.
You down there with him right now?
Interesting.
Here with him. If
Wow.
I think it's called the art of respect.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is now I'll say this now, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. I don't read as much as I should. Books. I read every day, but I don't read books I read articles. I'm more like a fact. Like I dive deep into the news, I dive deep into history, things of that nature. So I'm always reading something, but what I'm trying to do better is actually pick up more books from our people, because you gain a lot more insight. So with reading the book by J. Prince, he grew up pretty rough, actually, here in Houston. But what's so intriguing about J. Prince, you wouldn't know that, because he's never looked at himself as I guess you could say somebody that would come from the bottom. He's never approached anything like that. And what you'll learn in his book is that he's very spiritual. His grandmother was near and dear to him, and that he lost his sister as a young person, as a child, and that always stuck with him. And the dude is a straight hustler, man. And when I say hustler, I'm not talking selling drugs. I'm talking cutting grass, selling newspapers. What else am I thinking about? I can't remember the job exactly that he had, but he ended up getting this job, and he wasn't the best fit for the job, but ended up doing an awesome job at the job, because that's just how determined he was to be the best at what he does. And that's what really sticks out to me when I read his book. It's like he's such an awesome person. Whatever he touches, he's gonna do it to the best of his he's gonna figure out how to do it to the best of his ability and beat everybody out, which will explain why he is where he is and who he is.
Correct.
The music and everything, the groups that he put together is actually things that came about later. He wasn't necessarily music wasn't a concern of his. He was already making thousands, possibly millions of dollars by the time these ventures came to him.
Yep.
Right.
What came was the respect for him, or the name that he had on the streets and who he was. And he began to bring different types of people together. And he understood that there wasn't a venue for us. You know what I'm saying?
He created one.
Yes, absolutely.
What was he with? Rap a lot.
Rap a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Owner, Sam.
Yeah.
So when and I mean, it got so bad to a point, Sam, where the feds were after him. I can't remember the particular reason, but it involved the music as well. And by this point, that's not even where his mindset was. You get what I'm saying? So he was becoming so much of a boss, and I want to say late 80s, early 90s, that, to be honest with you, I think the record industry was trying to sabotage him, because this is something that you absolutely didn't want happen. First and foremost, you got a black owner. Now what he's going to do? He's going to get black artists.
Yeah.
Where is he getting these black artists from? They're coming from the roughest neighborhoods that you can find in America. That's where they come. But he's always, of course, started that melting pot here in Houston. Another intriguing thing is that I share in common with him is he loves to own property. he owns land. I mean, I think he got his own damn island. But what brought me to that is I would always go on trips. My dad, I ride with my dad everywhere. So we'd be driving through rural Georgia in the middle of nowhere. But I would always just enjoy looking out the window, looking at land. So he used to go, I can't remember, he used to drive with his grandmother to visit. I can't remember if it was an uncle or somebody that was in jail that was in north of Houston. And that gave him the opportunity to see land. He never saw it outside of Houston. So he was always intrigued with like, okay, what do I have to do to get that? Like, I want that. I want horses. I want cows. I want things of that nature. Mm-hmm. Those drives up there to think about that. The drives to visit somebody in jail that's where that motivation came from. He was able to see a different part of the world, which was really only a matter of minutes and hours just outside.
Exactly.
And look at what that's pushed. So Jay Prince, man, y'all check him out.
Yeah, we love Jay Prince, man.
This last one I actually had to. This one didn't actually come to me until we actually sat down. So I'm gonna be honest. But this is a person who I've always thought about, and I actually think I would like to have thought if I was alive during these times, I would be a replication of this person. I'm not saying I would be this person, but Harriet Tubman, man. I just want to sit down with you, like, I want to understand how, first and foremost, this had to be a strong ass woman. You know what I'm saying? Because at this time, she's doing some stuff that men not doing.
Not even close.
And I think this is the type of woman that'll slap you in the face real quick and let you know what time it is. Mm-hmm. So for Harriet, the reason I chose Harriet Tubman, because I think she's one of the most powerful individuals, the most, I'm trying to think of the words. She helped shape what the U.S. was going to turn into.
Exactly.
To put her face on a $100 bill is a slap in the face. I don't give a damn about you $100 bill, $20 bill. Well, no, that's a monument.
Yeah.
I agree.
This lady, I'm not sure if she does, but she needs her own museum.
Yep.
I agree.
Think about that. When you said Colin Powell went back 6 times. 6 times. Think about that, Vietnam. Just think about how fast the if I'm correct, the life expectancy in Vietnam was about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Am I right? Am I wrong on that, or am I right?
Correct. That is correct.
I think I'm giving them some.
That the word was the life expectancy of a lieutenant in Vietnam was 30 seconds.
Yes. So
friendly fire.
Yeah.
Think about this now. She went back hundreds of times.
Yeah.
Yes. Get this. From Canada. From Canada. From Canada. That means she came all the way from Canada 100-something times to free her people.
Yeah. And how many did she free?
Detroit.
How many did she free?
Sam, hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. And she said, she said, how
many more?
Hundreds of thousands of slaves. She said, I could have freed 100,000 more. They just didn't know they were slaves.
They didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't know they were slaves. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she would take her, and there's this pistol that she would carry with her on every trip. And the pistol was not for the white slave owners that was chasing them. The pistol was for the slaves that didn't want to come along.
Right.
I'm
See,
telling you,
because they gonna tell on you.
She's an amazing, amazing woman, man. Her story is amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Great choice, Will. Her story is amazing.
And I just want to say, the reason I wrote these lists down is because we don't praise these people enough. Heck, I didn't see Harriet Tubman enough in my school books when I was growing up. My daughters hardly see it now because I check, trust me. So I don't know. This I would have, hell, I would have worked for her. That's how I look at it. Like if I have somebody like that I want to be around somebody like that. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
I want, you know how you just want to be around something that's good.
Yeah.
If she had known, I would have wanted to be a part of that.
For sure.
Help push that, because you got to think big picture, and that's what I always think is big picture. When I'm talking to my girls, and we're talking about education, I'm always thinking big picture. What I have now, what I'm starting now, this is for you all.
Mm-hmm.
My father helped start it. I'm carrying it along.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, Harriet Tubman, gentlemen.
Hey,
great choice.
Hey,
great
good
choice.
list, Will. And something you said earlier, man, you was like, you wonder what your great grandfather's mission of your family, what it's supposed to be. Man, you are living proof of what he was.
I was gonna say the same thing.
You know, I mean,
correct.
Let's think about it. We in California, we didn't have family out there. The only family, only time we got to feel like we was in a family was at your house. We came to your house.
Yeah,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And
I tell.
Yeah, go ahead, Gene.
No, go please, go ahead, Sam, because you hitting it right.
Oh, yeah.
You hitting the spot, man.
I mean, got a studio in the house, you know,
right?
Everything.
Look, you know, I'm sitting there.
It was the best definition of being away from home, but still feeling like you're still within your culture, right? Your wife is an amazing person. She's an amazing cook. So, you know,
absolutely.
you still
that mac and cheese
like,
don't be playing.
Of course, man, of course. You still felt like you was back at home. You know what I'm saying? Even though you know you're not at home, but you at home. You felt like you was at home. I never walked to your house and didn't feel like I was family. You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel like a visitor.
Just
when
put
you
that
guys
dog
invited
up.
us
Just
over.
Put that dog up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just put Brownie up. You know what I'm saying?
Put Brownie up, man.
But I agree with Sam on that one. I just think that the growth that we all were able to obtain on a mission like that, where we came in not knowing each other. We didn't know each other, right? You had to kind of pick and choose who you was gonna be around, right? And how ironic is it that each and every one of us has a unique trait that we picked up from each other.
Yeah,
that's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Sam pulled me away from pork. O made me more wise. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Will made me more humble. I think before I speak because of you. Right? Grace just made you more aware of your surroundings.
Wow.
Right? And of course, Baker, right? Bake just made you feel like, look, I could be wild a little bit. Right?
Yeah.
I could be wild a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk my shit sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So the traits that we picked up from each other is what made us the men that we are today. Y'all gotta think about that. It's been almost 12 years, right? 10, 12 years.
That's right.
And I promise you no lie, every chance I get, I let my wife know how unique of a relationship and a friendship and a brotherhood that I have with these gentlemen. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And I just appreciate you guys, man. I really do. I appreciate y'all so much, man.
Hey, it's time for this damn trip.
I know, right? I know.
Yeah.
and y'all better bring Ty along too.
For sure.
He'll be
Yeah.
there. He'll be there. Hey, man, this whole conversation it's really about y'all three, man. We wanted, this is why we got this platform, because we want to just let you share your story too. That's why we said the first thing that we said, man, take all the time you want.
Thank you.
Man, it's all about you. But I'm gonna go into my list. I'm gonna have to take Harriet Tubman off because she was on my list, Will. So I'm gonna replace Harriet Tubman with Kanye West.
Oh.
The reason why I
Right.
picked Kanye, man, is because I feel like I consider Kanye West a genius, man, for real. And
Yes.
the thing that's going on right now, I hear D.L. Hughley talking about Kanye West and what's going on with his wife, but they're trying to make her seem like she's this angel that fell out of heaven.
Correct.
The only reason why she's where she's at now, because you made a sex tape.
Correct.
You where you at because of a sex tape. But I consider Kanye West a genius pretty much, so he's one of my lists. And I just look up to him. I think he's very creative. He reminds me a lot of you, with the creativity, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Super
Second
creative.
list. Yeah.
Hold on, I can't even let you go. I can't even let you come
Go
off
ahead,
like
bro.
that.
Go ahead.
Put it this way, my man Kanye West in the room with greats. You you were great when you in a room with greats that first and foremost wasn't even paying him that much attention.
Right.
And this man wherewithal to continue to hit him.
Damon Dash, the one that brought him in.
Yeah, but he made you respect him though.
Yeah.
He had to.
If you didn't respect him before, he made you respect him.
I mean, what it is that, anything is funny with the music industry. Anything that's new, that's kind of in your face, you're like, what it is in our music industry, folks don't quite understand sometimes the newness. Right. And Kanye West represents that. If you follow him, he recreates himself every time he goes into it.
That's right.
Yep.
That's what I love about. I have to respect the fact when this man goes into the studio, he recreates himself every single time.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Man, I'm waiting to sing a hook on one of your songs, Will. I ain't lying. You got to bring me in the studio.
Trust me, man. When I'm in here,
I'm jealous. All y'all done been on the song with Will except for me.
I like a good reason for that.
I hadn't even watched his Netflix special yet.
Yeah, I heard it's good.
Yeah, I heard it's good too.
I'm waiting, man, because I know I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna be honest with you. Because I understand this man's passion, man. Do I disagree with him sometimes? Absolutely.
Of course. But we disagree with each other sometimes.
But what I'll say about Kanye is the man is consistent.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
All right.
Listen. Go ahead, Sam. Go ahead.
Hey,
Sam.
we're gonna keep it moving. Next on my list is Dave Chappelle, man. You know what I'm saying? When I first went to college, I went to Allen University, a small HBCU in Columbia, South Carolina. We used to have weekly meetings. All the freshmen have to go to these weekly meetings every Wednesday. But the name of the hall was Chappelle Hall. And Chappelle, that was Dave Chappelle's grandfather's. They named that building after him. And he was an activist in the community where we're from. He was a black activist then. So, and then when you see the things that Dave Chappelle, how outspoken he is right now, and how he's fearless.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And TY, we went to the Million Man March back in 2015, and I'm standing right beside him, and bruh said, "Man, that's Dave Chappelle right there." And as soon as he said that's Dave Chappelle right there, because he's standing in the grassroots with the people. He didn't want to go sit up there with Snoop and
Right,
all the
right,
other
right,
celebrities.
right.
And as soon as TY said that, that's Dave Chappelle. It's like the whole crowd heard him say that's Dave Chappelle. Everybody want to take pictures with him, everything. You know,
Damn
Dave
right.
had the security, they had to come get him and he walked off, you know what I'm saying? And third on my list, y'all got anything to say about Dave? Oh, you got anything to say about Dave?
Listen, I'm not gonna take long, but wow. Dave Chappelle is one of my favorite people. And you said it best, his outspokenness, right? He don't give a fuck what you think about him. He don't care, but he gonna say what he gonna say. But I'm gonna leave it at that. Go ahead, Sam. Go ahead. I'm excited about your list, man.
Yeah, third on my list is from Durham, North Carolina, who we was talking about earlier. Oh, that's why I knew who you was talking about. It's Dr. Claude Anderson. You know what I'm saying? If you have not heard a black man speak about us in our economic situation, Dr. Claude Alexander is the one. Back in the 60s and 50s, his family owned a bus company in Durham, North Carolina with over 500 buses. When they did the boycott in, where was it at? Montgomery? When they did the boycott in Montgomery, Alabama, he wanted to send his buses down there. But if they would have did it, they probably would have been dead. Every bus driver would have been dead. They got death threats for that. But just listen to Dr. Claude, man. Oh, you got anything you want to say about Dr. Claude?
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head, Sam. Like he got a plan in place. You ain't even got to come up with a plan. He got the plan in place. If you check his books and stuff.
Oh yeah.
He goes right up the ladder, how you progress from grassroots all the way up to the top, so that our culture is compatible with like Asian culture, the Mexicans and all of them that take care of their own. They got political backing and to make things happen for him. Yeah, he got the steps.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And fourth on my list, y'all already know where I'm going, but it's Dr. Khaled Abdul Mohammed. You know, if you never heard of Dr. Khaled Abdul Mohammed, man, you got to research him. Anybody out there, if you listening, man, go on YouTube and just type in Dr. Khaled Abdul Mohammed. He definitely followed the guidance of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad to the T, you know, and something happened during when he was in the nation and the minister silenced him because he made a comment. But, you know, he was a powerful brother and he loved us. I remember the first time I saw Dr. Khaled, it was on, y'all remember, y'all young, me and O probably remember. You remember the show Donahue?
Donahue, yeah.
When he was on Donahue, man, it was a lot of white supremacists in there. They were just coming at him hard. But when he started speaking the truth and facts to them, he made all them realize what he was saying was the truth, and they all was on his side at the end before that show was over.
Oh man, I gotta go back and find this episode now.
Oh yeah, just type in Donahue, Dr. Khaled Abdul Muhammad.
Yeah, powerful oratory skills, boy.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Never afraid of the moment. Gene, he commands a room like you do, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, that you talking about I remind you of Muhammad Ali, man. That's them shoes too big for me. But bro, if you listen to Dr. Khaled, the way that you can captivate a room, you remember what I told you years ago? I said, man, I could just see you speaking in front of a lot of people and everybody, you know, knowing who you are. As soon as you got back to Miami, you called me and you said, you started telling me everything. And I'm on the phone, I'm just excited. I said, hey, it's happening, you know? It's happening. Yep. And it happened, you know? And y'all got it. Oh, you want to say anything about Dr. Khaled that you remember?
Yeah, I remember that seeing that Donahue episode, and I'm like, you know, he was fearless, courageous, and fully confident. And it's like everything that he was saying was just, he knew he was gonna say it before he had to say it. So
Right.
and I mean, to say it with full conviction, and,
Right.
and they and
Prepared.
them folks in the
Prepared.
audience knew they wasn't gonna shake him.
Right.
And whatever they came up with, he was unshakable.
Right.
And I was like, being that presence, and even though everybody, you got to be like real for the cause to be dedicated to it, to be along with it. But I mean, like, if you could understand what he was saying, you're like, yeah, we got to do this, we got to do it. And then I know you could just see the fear in them people's faces, like we can't do nothing with this one.
Yeah, he was
Absolutely not.
undeterred. He was
Yeah,
undeterred
can't do
the
nothing
whole time.
whatsoever with it.
I
Yes.
remember that.
And the last person on my list is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
I already knew
All
it was
day.
coming. Look,
It
I already
ain't no
knew it.
surprise. You already know that.
Listen, I knew more about him from you
Yeah.
than I ever did. And that's just the truth. When I met you back in 2008, I learned more about him through you. And that's what made me wanted to start, learning more about this individual.
Yeah. Man, I started listening to the minister when we was kids. One of my childhood friends, Abdul, man, he used to walk to the bus stop. We used to walk to school, elementary school. He'd be playing tapes.
Wow.
In elementary school.
Elementary
Wow.
school. But
Yeah,
I know
boom. He played it
again.
on the boombox sound.
man, he had one of them little tape recorders where you hit the red button and got to hit both of
yeah,
them at
yeah.
the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
exactly.
TY know back in 1998, no matter, that's when we used to drink and everything, but no matter what, when we got off work, it was like 5 or 6 of us stayed in a 2-bedroom apartment, in Charlotte. We trying to make it. But every day I put that VCR tape in every day. But he just, that's my guy, man.
Nice.
No, very,
You
very.
listen to his swan song speech.
Oh yeah, all day. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things he said in the Swan song, he opened up by saying, let me see. That's my next tattoo. I don't want to mess it up, so I'm gonna read what he said. He said, life is always presenting the living with a problem, but I'm made to conquer any problem that life presents. And that was his thesis statement into that speech. And it was very powerful. I think everybody should listen to it.
I'm writing it down. I don't follow him as much as I should, but I listened to him, especially when all this COVID stuff kicked off. With just watching several messages from him, and just his provision, man. That's what intrigues me, is his provision. Like and I can see why he is who he is, because any man that has provision, that's able to say something and give you guidance, and that comes into fruition, is a powerful individual, man. So
Agree.
I definitely want to check out. I need to check out more of him.
Yeah, man. I mean, the minister is 88 years old, and he gave 67 out of his 88 years to the nation.
Yeah.
And Black people in America and across the world. But that's just one of my heroes.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, TY. The man of the hour.
Hey, listen up. First, I want to thank Gene, and Will just for blessing us, just giving your time to join us, and great list. All 3 was great lists. My brother always say that me and Will got a lot in common.
Yeah.
And I do have one on the list that he had. I'm gonna still keep it on the list. That's
I already know who it is.
Absolutely. But I jotted down. I'm not gonna take much of your time because it's really about you guys, and we wanted to hear what you guys had to say. In no particular order. I'm gonna start with my maternal great-great-grandmother. Her name was Mary Anderson. And kind of like Will said, and I think O as well, just I'm very curious about where my people came from and, you know, how did we get where we at? So I wanted to give her a shout out, and I had the opportunity to meet her. I know you guys said y'all didn't, but I think she passed in like 85. I was probably 7 or 8 years old. So I got an opportunity to spend a little time with her, but I wasn't at the age where I was aware, you know, to ask the right questions and see what was really going on. So I wanted to put her on the list and give her a shout out. Next, I wanted to go to Alfredo Bowman. Do you guys know who that is?
Baby.
Dr.
Savior.
Dr.
Savior.
Savior.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? I'm so intrigued with this guy. Like I got a nephew, man, he just lives by him, but I'm so intrigued with just what he was able to accomplish and, you know, what his legacy left since he's, you know, been gone. So I ain't gonna speak too much on that. Kind of like your guy, but he got a lot of stuff that you can look into that can probably help you stay around here a little bit longer.
Correct.
Next on my list, I ain't really like this dude at first. I had to really do some research on him, and that's Nat Turner. So in the beginning, you know, I felt some type of way because I'm saying though, you know, he was one of few that could read, and I felt like he was doing the white man's dirty work by, you know, making sure the slaves stay in line by, oh, you should listen to your master, obey your master, so to speak. But then, you know, when you dig a little bit deeper, and when I just want to, if I could break bread with him, just what was in his thought process, those 6 weeks in hiding after, you know what I'm saying? After he was able to help kill over 50
plus.
50 plus, I'm gonna just say
yes,
Southern oppressors.
Yes, sir.
Say Southern oppressors. You know, just what was his thought process in those 6 weeks when they was looking for him, you know, just to see what the mindset was. So that was one I wanted to put on my list.
Ty, and I'm so sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, you good.
But that one, that individual is unique in a lot of ways. I don't know if your brother told you, but I'm also Haitian. And everybody knows, if you know about Haiti, that we gained our independence in 1804 by
not submitting,
fighting off our oppressors, right? Not submitting, right?
Yeah.
And Nat Turner, believe it or not, was one of, you got to think back to that. Nat Turner was one of the reasons that occurred, right? The first slave rebellion occurred in the United States. Successful slave rebellion, but he was caught, but it was a rebellion nonetheless.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
And when they finally caught him, obviously they skinned him alive and so on and so forth. But what a great choice, Ty. What a great choice, man.
Appreciate it.
Wow.
The Art of War. That's what get that book, man.
Exactly.
Read that book.
Exactly.
The Art of War.
Yep.
Okay. So next on my list is Kobe Bean Bryant. Everybody that know me know I'm a diehard Laker fan. So
nice.
But me and Kobe, we share so much in common. We both Leos. We both basically actually he's not, because I think he's the 24th. He just missed it. But we were the same age. And my sitting down with Kobe would be, did you know that you was going to have the impact that you've had once you departed this life? I mean, he was so important when he was here, but he just went to another level when he passed. And like my brother know, I wasn't calling it Mamba mentality, but I was already living that mentality. And if I didn't have on a long sleeve, I would flex and show my Kobe tattoo, because you know we both got them. But it was just that his imprint, what he left, you know what I'm saying? And then I don't have girls, but just to see how he interact with his daughters and just how he carried himself. Like you said, Will, yeah, he made mistakes, but he showed that he was human, just like the rest of us. But
correct.
He showed, I guess, most people how to work hard, and you can achieve, you know what I'm saying, what you want to achieve if you go hard enough, you know what I'm saying, and outwork the next man. You don't necessarily have to have the most talent, which he had that as well, but it was work ethic. So that was something that just stands out, and I think I live by that as well. And then last but not least, I put myself. And what I mean by that, if I could break bread with an 18-year-old TY, you know, it's certain things, and I think Gene, you had mentioned this earlier, that, or it might have been Will, but all y'all have so many good things, but never use the word can't, you know, to describe something. Something like when I was younger and I wasn't comfortable, I used that word, you know, and I would tell a younger version of myself, never use that. And I know I would say, I didn't want to say young because I'm not young, but as a Black man with two young men that I raised, I taught them that never use can't, because I'm saying, no, that should never be in your vocabulary. Never. And I would also let myself know that everything happens for a reason, and we'll always, and my brother taught me this, have knowledge of self.
Hey.
And so that's what I would tell my younger version of myself, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't probably change any of the path that I went through, because I'm saying they made me who I am.
Of course.
But those would be the messages that I gave my younger self to make that path a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's my 5. You know, I'm
right.
send it
That's
back
dope,
over.
bro. And I like how you put yourself in there. I love the spin you put on it.
Yeah.
Because what you would have talked to yourself about, that's knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
Yeah.
Yep.
All
of us want that opportunity right there.
Yeah.
Right. Sure.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean but talking to yourself is just like when I talk to my son, I tell him, I said, man, like, and TY, you know how well, one particular incident that me and him was going through, but I was like, I'm giving you the answers to the test. Not saying that I passed the test, I failed the test. I just don't want you to make those same mistakes.
The same mistakes,
you know?
right?
So I'm giving you, don't think, I said, what I'm doing, the advice I'm giving you, I flunked the test, but when the teacher was going over the test, you know what I did? I got my pen, I put the right answer beside the answer that I got wrong, and I put it in my pocket, and I gave it to you. You know. Hey, y'all got anything else y'all want to say? Man,
no, just thank you. Just thank you so much for the opportunity. Just seeing, I'm not gonna lie, just seeing you, seeing O, seeing Will again. I mean, if this is the forum that I had to come to see it, I'm okay with it. It puts my heart at peace, and I think you gentlemen know how much you mean to me, so it means a lot. So thank you, Ty. Thank you so much for even thinking about having us on. So I appreciate y'all.
Oh yeah, and all of y'all are artists, man. Like Ty, these brothers are authors and musicians and singers and rappers and producers.
Some of everything.
You know. Oh man, I be playing what the song Will with O talking on it? Peanut butter.
Enough. Yeah.
I still think you should have let me sing that hook, Will, instead of Skinner, man.
Spread them legs like antennas, right? Oh,
yeah, that's it, man.
If I ever get announced one day or write a book and need an audio, O has the smoothest voice.
I'm trying to tell you, man.
For sure, man. For sure.
Yeah. and just look, man, he in Detroit. Where all the players at. you know.
Man,
All of it.
hey, I'm soaking up so much game up here, man. This is unbelievable, man.
Good for
Yeah.
you. Good for you. Oh,
Yeah.
good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you so much, Sam. Ty.
Man.
Appreciate y'all
Yeah,
so
man.
much, man.
Me and TY, man, the crazy thing, I'm gonna let y'all know, man. Y'all know we used to do a version of this too, but it stopped. Y'all remember that? Every week.
Yeah, I
but
remember you doing it. Yeah, I
we used
remember.
we used to talk about top 5 MCs and
Oh,
all that.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I think we
Yeah,
stopped 'cause
yeah.
y'all kept talking about
We did it
Eminem, and
through
I didn't want to play
text.
no more.
Yeah.
Yeah, talking about Eminem. I didn't want to play no more after that. And I think y'all was doing that just to piss me off. You know? Yeah.
See, we get on each other's nerves too.
Yeah. But to give you a backstory, man, me and bro been doing this for what, about a year, TY? We started doing it during COVID, you know, when everybody was letting their hair grow and everything, you know, but because we
I ain't cutting it.
used to argue about who the top 5 basketball players, this and that. And then one day TY said, hey bro, instead of us getting in debates about this, let's make it fun, you know, and we'll just come up with fun topics, you know, that we can build on and learn from, you know, and share knowledge with. So we started doing that. So about a month ago, I say, bro, we've been doing this for a minute. Let's put it on camera, you know, and invite people in the conversation every week. So that's what we did.
You know, I'm gonna say something real quick too. It's therapeutic, man.
Oh yeah, man.
It's therapeutic. Man, I'm in a house full of girls, man. So I don't get a lot of opportunities to hang out with my guys, speak with the guys. It's therapeutic, man. Even I got a trip coming up with my my father, some of my uncles. It's going to be about 4 generations of us, and we've never had the opportunity to be around each other. But I'm going to bring this type of stuff. That's what I'm bringing to the table when I step out. And, you know, you all building this forum. Yeah. This is what it's for, man. Absolutely awesome.
And it's always good to have, you know, we came up with 5 people apiece. What's that, Gene? 15 people?
15.
Well,
25? 25?
Yeah, 25 together? For all of us, all right. Yeah.
But guess what? Somebody right now looking at this screen, and it's 5 of us, and they getting all of our knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So
right.
we just made somebody day. They talking to 5 Black men that's not on here acting ignorant, but
correct,
sharing facts and
successful.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Don't forget that.
You know, but that's what it's all about, though, right? Leaving something behind for the next person, something better, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's all about.
Man, I'm so for the next chapter of my life, man. It's ridiculous.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, man.
Exactly.
But I want to, you know, with everything being said, I'm gonna leave all of y'all contact information in the description below once I put everything in there, and how people can get in contact with you and reach you on your platforms, you know. And you know, this has been a great conversation. And TY, you got anything else before we close out?
Nah, I just want to thank everybody for joining in, because I'm real big on taking away from others and adding, you know what I mean? So anytime I can sit in a room with somebody, you can always gather some information that you can take from that, because no one knows everything. And the day you stop learning is the day that you die.
Yep. So stop existing. Build and destroy. To build, we're going to add on, make better. Destroy, take away all the negative and the ignorance and replace it with knowledge. But I want to thank everybody for listening to this segment again of Fresh Fire Friday with TY and Reggie. Thank you, my brothers, for joining us. We'll see you next week. Peace be unto you.
Peace, God.
Peace, God.